For years, we've been told about the importance of smoke alarms. In a fire, they can give us an early warning that just might help save a life. But installing smoke alarms in your home is still no guarantee that you're safe. Experts say that 1 out of every 3 alarms will fail to go off in an emergency. It's 10 days before Christmas. A fire breaks out in an Edmonton townhouse. A mother and her 3 children are still inside the burning house. 31-year-old Denise Tate manages to escape with 2 of her children, but her 2.5-year-old son Jesse is trapped inside. Denise Tate is forced out by the smoke and flames and is frantic because she can't save her son.
I just want my son to be out there.
Firefighters search through thick smoke and find Jesse in an upstairs bedroom. Mike Jetty is the fireman who found Jesse Tate.
We knew that there was a child trapped upstairs. And at this point here, I looked and I saw the flames were licking off the ceiling and spreading around. And at that point I was able to turn the corner and go up the stairs. The smoke was so dense and thick, going up the stairs, the only way we could really get up there with any type of speed whatsoever was by putting our flashlights right on each single stair so we could actually see it. And we moved up, and the walls were able to tip up. Again, we had to keep our flashlight down because the smoke was just as thick as it was down below. And I found my way along the hallway into this bedroom here. Upon entering the bedroom, I found the crib, and I checked the crib out, and there was nothing in there, so I continued my search, which led me over to the bed here. With my flashlight on the bed, I was searching around the bed like this, and as I was right in this area here, I saw a little foot sticking out. So I was able to pull the child towards me, and as the child came towards me, it made a little gurgling sound. So I thought I had a chance to get this child out alive.
But Jesse Tate did not survive the fire. He died in hospital that day.
He was like such a good little baby, so happy-go-lucky. And
Gail Jackal is Jesse's grandmother. She believes a working smoke alarm would have saved Jesse's life. The fire started here in the kitchen by the stove. Denise Tate was asleep on the couch just steps away from where the fire began. When she awoke, the fire was already out of control. There was a smoke alarm in her townhouse unit. Had it worked, it would have given a crucial early warning, and there would have been time to get everyone out safely. But Denise Tate's smoke alarm didn't go off in that fire. The fire department says it wasn't working, and that's not unusual. More than 30% of smoke detectors in Canadian homes would not work in an emergency. Harold Jordan is the fire chief in Smiths Falls, Ontario. He says the problem is people just don't maintain their smoke alarms, and he's seen the tragic consequences.
It's just a careless loss of life. When people pull these plugs out or don't put batteries in their smoke detectors, it's such a simple maintenance program to exchange the battery, to make the smoke detectors work. And when we as firefighters, we have to help take these people out of these buildings, it makes me sick at times to see the young lives that are lost as a result of careless fires and no warning system within the building.
I never really ever figured that anything like this could ever happen to me.
Christine Carey is lucky to be alive. She and her boyfriend David Wise escaped in the middle of the night from this burning house in Toronto.
And I just flew down those stairs and flew out the back door. Thank God that back door was right there. But not thinking even that those stairs could have collapsed. Not knowing what was going on underneath. Just having to, I'm sure I didn't touch any of the steps. I just flew from the top of the steps to the bottom and out.
This dog is what saved David and Christine. His persistent barking woke them up and alerted them to the fire.
If my dog hadn't woken me up, I imagine I would have died. Bruce, sit. Hey, sit.
The fire killed a friend staying in the basement and caused $75,000 damage to their home. You had a smoke alarm, but it wasn't working.
No.
Why not?
So we never checked it. Well, we really never even gave it a second thought. When we moved in, we knew it was there, and that was about as far as I was concerned. That's about as far as it went.
Canada has one of the highest rates in the world of fire deaths. That's because most of us just aren't aware of what really happens in a fire. Almost 80% of fire deaths occur at night. People think they'll be awakened by the smell of smoke. But early in a fire, poisonous carbon monoxide gas is released. Invisible and odorless, it spreads throughout a home. It puts people into an even deeper sleep, and without the benefit of smoke alarms, they'll be killed by smoke inhalation. This lab setting shows how quickly a smoke detector would sound during a fire. Within 40 seconds, a smoke detector located just outside the room is activated. A person in this room would have only moments to escape before the entire room is engulfed in flames. This is the room just 1 minute after the smoke alarm sounded. The dense, toxic smoke has built up in the room and descended to just 4 feet above the floor. The temperature of the floor is 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water. The intense heat in the room builds up, and then flashover. Every flammable object in the room is almost instantaneously ignited. From a tiny flame on a chair to a room totally consumed by fire took only 2 minutes. Someone in this house would have only a few precious moments to get out. Hundreds of Canadians die each year in residential fires. Many of those lives could be saved if all homes were properly equipped with working smoke detectors. But provincial law in Canada requires smoke detectors only in newly constructed homes. Older homes aren't required to have them unless they are in cities or towns that have passed special bylaws. Smiths Falls, Ontario is one of the hundreds of communities in Canada that has made alarms mandatory in all homes, and its fire department enforces the bylaw with random house inspections to make sure smoke alarms are installed and that they work.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Harold Jordan with the Fire Department, Floyd Darling.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing a service inspection on smoke detectors in the homes, and we were just wondering if you would like us to come in and check yours.
Sure, that would be great. Come on in.
Thank you. We will test the smoke detector by pushing the test button, just to make sure that it's going to work. It does work.
It's suggested you clean your smoke detector with a vacuum at least every 6 months and test it with actual smoke.
By doing this type of a test, it will tell us whether there's any buildup of dirt inside the detector, and that it works under actual smoke conditions.
In this home, there were 2 smoke detectors, but the one on the second floor wasn't working.
Give it a test. It don't seem to be working.
That's really strange because they were both replaced the same day, the batteries.
Okay, we'll just open this valve and we'll check for it. So the battery's in the detector, Barbara, but it's not hooked in. Whoever's put that battery in, they've not hooked it in properly, and it's not making contact. So that would render your smoke detector pretty inoperable in the event of a fire. When we started doing home inspections as a result of the survey, we found out that about 33% of these were not working. The batteries weren't in place, the batteries were dead, the smoke detector wasn't mounted on the ceiling, we may have found them under a table, in a closet, and some people just didn't want to put them up. They just didn't think it was important enough.
Many fire officials would like to see smoke alarms required not just by some municipalities. They want province-wide laws that would make smoke alarms mandatory in all homes. In the U.S., more than half the states have such laws.
There was 152 fire deaths in the province of Ontario in 1987. Out of that 152, 130 of them were people that lost their lives in their own home. So I am convinced that if a provincial bylaw or law was in effect, making people put smoke detectors in their home, that number would be reduced.
The lives would be saved.
And lives would be saved.
I certainly hope that a child's life will count for something. And if it gets people just to listen and open their eyes and say, maybe I'll check my alarm, and it might save their life. It might save the child's life.
What a horrible nightmare for that mother. Very scary.
We learned some important things doing this item on smoke detectors. First of all, try to clean your smoke detector at least every 6 months with a vacuum, because spiders can build cobwebs in there and clog up the instrument. Second, try to put one on every living area of the house, especially important near the sleeping quarters, but not near showers or in kitchens where you might set them off accidentally and be tempted to unplug them. Perhaps the most important point, though, is put a fresh battery in that smoke detector.
Now, how do you know when that is, though? Isn't the detector supposed to let you know when it's time?
Yes, it is, but in my case, I checked a smoke detector I thought was working perfectly. It was deader than a doornail. It may have warned me during a week I was away on holidays. Who knows? So the important point is, get a new battery, put it in the smoke detector, pick a date for the replacement. Could be your birthday, could be New Year's. But pick a date, stick to it, and replace that battery at least once a year.